Jay-Z, widely known as one of the biggest entrepreneurs in hip-hop history, of course, did not build his empire overnight. From Rockefeller's top artist to Jeff Jam's president to now a CEO of several lucrative businesses, an empire so big would not come to fruition without unorthodox movements.
Snitching, that's like snitching.
As many of these movements are now well documented, as his takeover of Rocafella, beef with Nas, and recently his handling of lawyer Tony Busby, he rolls through his method behind utilizing business, bars, and blood.
And go get Leo.
One example rarely brought up in today's era is that Jay-Z would use all three of these tactics on one individual. While many will claim there were subliminal jabs thrown between the two primarily, the combat decisively began the moment Camron was named Vice President of Rocafella Records.
Cam knew Dame. Because if Cam ain't no Dame, the story of the diplomats wouldn't be. So he ran over to Dame, and Dame is, you know what I mean, it's like a mentor. And we shook it up from there. Is you crazy? We on the motherfucking rock. Jay over there, Bleak over there, Beanie over here, we running crazy.
There was confusion as really Dame Dash named him VP of his own record label within The Roc, but Cam went to the radio before things were even established.
I told Beans, I'm gonna make you a vice president. Cam, I'm gonna make you a vice president. But the way a boss does, Cam went to the radio, quick, just when we were discussing it, and told the whole world. We hadn't even negotiated it. So now, everybody on the label, I'm talking about everybody, is like, what, I gotta ask them for videos now?
This became a move where Jay-Z felt slighted. A move made by Dame not even converse with Hov, who was a part owner. First shots were fired early on after Cam was brought to The Roc. No one knows the exact moment Dipset and Rocafella fell out, but the stories are plentiful. Dipset member Freaky Zeke would claim this started over an office dispute.
But what really separated us was when the tensions was high, it was me, Jim, and Snags. I think we called Lenny S, told Lenny S we needed studio time. The studio time, Lenny S was like, to the studio, we called Lenny S like, what's going on? You said he's gonna give us studio time. Lenny S was like, kiss my ass, nigga. I told you it's Sunday, nigga, what you talking about? You know what I mean? He was like, really? Next day, we up in Rockefeller. Like, where the fuck this nigga at, man? We couldn't find him. All I know is we couldn't find him. So I got on the elevator, and then I got pushed in the elevator. Something physical happened to Lenny S. You know what I'm saying? So we get downstairs, and Jim shoot out the gate. Jim running. Snags get out. Dame pulls up. What the fuck going on? I'm here getting hit and all that shit. What's going on? We was like, I don't know, some shit about niggas ain't do shit. This motherfucking studio shit. I don't know. Dame say, where the motherfucking niggas at? So I think he brought Lenny S down, and he got Jim and Snags there. And he was like, we gonna fight. Because none of this shit is stupid. If there's a problem, let's just fight it out. Lenny S, go over there and fight Jim. What's up? And before that happened, the motherfucking Jeep or a truck or something pull up. And I don't know if it was Bleak brother, but I can't remember. But it was like in the Bleak family. You know what I'm saying? So that's what caused the tension right there. Nobody got it on that day. Everybody ended up separating, but the people that we saw let us know like, oh, now it's up. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think
this quarrel would take shape through many forms.
First thing that happened, I brought K-Slay up there. And I guess I didn't know he was mad at K-Slay because K-Slay must have played Ether at the time, and he was mad at Nas for Ether and all this other shit.
We never heard this story, Ken.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Okay, and this is after K-Slay, he definitely voted for Nas Ether. I remember this. Continue.
Yeah, so I brought him up there because, you know, we using K-Slay to host our mixtape. So K came up there, boom. Jay wasn't there. But as I'm leaving, Jay is in the lobby, a baseline. So I walk K to the elevator, and I guess they said, K and Jay-Z said, what's up, whatever. So I walk back in, he said, yo, you gotta be careful who you bringing around here. We might have just slapped the shit out of K-Slay. And I'm like, wait, what's going on, man? And just saying, be careful who you bring around. All right, cool, this your house. I ain't got no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. Cool.
A track Cam selected for his Rocafella debut album suddenly appeared on Jay-Z's Blueprint album.
He played this beat for me. And I'm like, oh, nah, I want that one. I want that. I said, cool, we gonna work the paperwork out and get this together. 2 weeks later, maybe a week later, I hear H to the is O, V to the is A. Oh, my nigga, I used to dribble down in VA. Yo, is this the fucking beat you just told me I could have? We wrote in the studio that night.
Cam would not act in an employee-type manner, which technically he was. Instead, he would trade barbs with his boss by secluding a Just Blaze track designated for Jay-Z, which turned into the Billboard hit, Oh Boy. When Jay-Z caught wind of this, he would place his vocals on a remix version, then Cam would do the unthinkable.
So PD's playing the song for Jay-Z, whoever else in the studio. And like I said, so he says he's in the studio playing it, and my verse come on, and Jay say, stop it, erase that shit, and just erase my whole verse. So,
but I believe Cam asked Jay to get on Old Boy, and he dubbed the Old Boy. Then when we put Old Boy out on our own, that shit pop. That shit rocked. It rocked the fella. As a matter of fact, it rocked the fella. And then he like, oh, let me get on the remix now. And they're like, got it.
I'm like, then he had something to Old Boy. And I was like,
this is Old Boy's already number one?
Yeah, it's popping.
This is
popping.
Let's be clear.
Yeah, this is popping, Old Boy.
The rough draft.
So I listened to it and I was like,
a verse the world would never get a chance to hear, even to this day.
Erase that shit. You see, did this shit to me, so I was like,
please do me a favor before we go too far in this video, hit that like button and apply pressure to that subscribe button. The war had begun. We would all get a chance to witness this on an awkward BET appearance.
With Juicy Fruit, we're chilling with Camron and Jay-Z in the house.
ROC. Sure.
Hey, but someone's out drops tomorrow.
My joint's already crazy. That's like given. You already see my joint's crazy. Tomorrow, we'll pick it up. Banana, shout out to everybody on there. Bleak, J Beans, Jim Jones, Santana, Freaky. I just had to let y'all know, free joint.
You could feel the intensity, and Cam would proceed to disrespect.
Keep the whole
shout out to Dame Dash and High for 2, man. The Dame Dash and High for 2, man.
Huh?
Dame Dash and Hoffa, man.
Okay.
Other CEOs.
All right,
the label.
We gotta thank y'all for coming through today.
Later on, some would claim Cam's addition to Rocafella would be the direct move that would cause Sean Carter, one who himself claimed only wanted to rap, would come for everything Dame built.
You don't send an email randomly at 10:30 at night or whatever it is at night, the day we all had awake. That shit don't fly right. That shit is f***ed up. And on another level, it's not for y'all to go. Y'all do not control any of my artists.
The signs began to show something was on the horizon.
So what was we doing? What was we talking about in terms of Jay? Let me know. About you. We're going to do something about Jay. We're going to do it together. All right, then, but why you didn't call me? You want to make a stupid talk all you want. This is treacherous. I'm telling you. I'm sick of this shit. And go get Leo. You always leave when you're not a leader. You don't know shit about my culture. Get the f*** out. You don't know shit about Jay. Get the f*** out, Randy Acker. That's why all artists kick your f***ing ass anyway. Excuse me? That's why you stay getting punched in your face by other artists. Not by Dame Dash, but other people, because you don't respect my culture. That's why. That's why you've been smacked.
Karen Civil would state a parking spot might have been the final straw.
I'll never forget this. Jay-Z was pulling up in his Maybach, right? You know how Def Jam's like on the side, the Universal building at the time?
Yeah.
So it's like on the side. So Cam was in his turtle top, like parked right there, and he was talking to Duke. We were near the car. And then this car wants to pull up. Like this Maybach wants to pull up. I think it was Maybach. Yeah, wants to pull up. And then they honk. I'm like, oh, I get excited. I'm like, oh, I think that's Hov. So I back up. Cam's like, chill out. So then the car beep again. And then Cam ain't move. So then Jay had to get out the car. And he walked over because he wanted to see who was in the car. Like, who wouldn't move out the way? Mm-hmm. So then he came over, he looked. Dipset was out of the building the next week.
Whatever the case, in Jay-Z's mind, Cam and the entire Dipset had to go, as well as Dame, who was the root cause of all this.
We always been polar opposites, you know what I'm saying? But when people see us drifting apart or doing different things like that, it leads to like talking, and then that just grows and it grows. And
Has he made decisions that you disagree with, and vice versa?
Absolutely.
Like
I mean,
what?
that's
Like-
just part of being in the business.
Which business decisions did he make that you wasn't?
See, and then we going back to violating that trust. I wouldn't do that. But,
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
absolutely.
I thought it was all eyes on Jay-Z. My bad.
He would exact this move with the highly known backdoor deal made with Lyra Cohen,
And go get Leo.
where he would obtain Dame's portion of Rocafella. In return, he would sell it to Def Jam for millions more, while also securing the executive position on one of the most successful record labels in rap history.
This is my office. I don't let anyone into my inner sanctum. If you look here, we have a great view of the Empire State Building. I believe that anything you do in life, you have to have passion about what you do because it's hard work. And I love it, and I love the results.
This move alone would disband the entire Rocafella roster, which each artist would have to choose either Jay-Z and Def Jam or Dame, who would now have to start all over again. This move would not only impact Dipset, but a litany of other artists, many whom Jay-Z had prior disputes with rather petty or significant. Most artists did not take well to this move of Jay-Z suddenly becoming their boss.
I had to get the fuck up off of that jam.
Two of the biggest voices against this move were DMX
I turned them records, that job down 10 years ago.
and LL Cool J.
Like,
What happened, man? Like, you was over there for years.
Well, yeah, nigga, in there with lip gloss and Chinese slippers on. Oh, I didn't hear that, man. Like, money, you playing with a real nigga shit right now. So, you know what I mean? I ain't got time for that, yo.
What's your relationship with Jay-Z? You know what I mean? Did that shit affected by you not leaving a label or whatever?
Somewhat, you know what I'm saying? Somewhat, you know what I'm saying?
Having your competitor suddenly become your boss had drastic effects on Def Jam as a whole.
I knew from the beginning it put him in an awkward situation. So I got to take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? It's like it put him in a real awkward situation. Like, yo, we've been, that's my dog for a minute, son. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of the few rappers I respected and was like genuinely happy to see him when I saw him. You know what I'm saying? And that's put us both in an awkward situation. You know, when he first got the job, he hit me with the call like, yo, dog, it makes us run in the building like, yo, you good? Finish the album, shoot the video. What happened? Niggas go on vacation and, you know, we don't know. What you mean you don't know? How do you listen to a whole album, pick a single, shoot a video, then don't know?
The tension got to the point where LL Cool J threatened a diss track out of the scenario.
A lot of talk in the street saying you going that hole, man. Niggas is upset about a lot of rumors about somebody being called the GOAT or the Billy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
What's good with that?
Nah. Well, I'll address it on a lot of different levels. As far as me going at homeboy, look, my bottom line, my job is simple. I need my records promoted. People have to understand that when they talk about LL, you talking about 24 years.
Okay.
Not 12.
Not 12.
And when you talk about LL, you talking about 1984 and me starting the label. You know what I'm saying? Me, Russell, and Rick actually sitting there and starting Def Jam. So I'm not like I don't begrudge nobody their success and anything that's happening in their lives.
Though an official diss track was never presented by LL Cool J, it seems the animosity is still there.
And it would have to be Slick Rick.
Okay, that's all you had to say.
Because it's Def Jam.
Okay. Was Hov not in Def Jam?
Yeah, 1,000 years later.
This would begin a new era for Sean Carter, who would not only use this move to establish himself corporate-wise and go after real industry money, it also gave him the ability to take on beefs from an office. He would make moves that live to this day by dropping either his project or his artist project as the same day of an op of his, which he got very comfortable doing to Nas.
Do you think Jay-Z releases projects on your album, release dates on purpose?
That's what they said. Still Mad, it came out December 18th. They said Jay released Unplugged. Then they said Street Disciple, November 30th. Then Collision Course. Nas's greatest hits, American Gangster. Nasir, Everything Is Love.
Yo, bro, that's a hell of that's some coincidence.
Maybe Cam, who had a boss mentality in his own right, could see the future. He was signed an independent deal with Koch Records. Because Sean Carter definitely wasn't dropping any conflicts he had at the time, and this would become known by items such as who Def Jam signed. One of the biggest signs that the beef was on with Cam was Def Jam Rocafella will go on to sign an artist from Manhattan more familiar to Cam and Dipset, True Life.
Lizzie, nigga, my life real. Man.
True was not known for his music as much as he was known for his street wars. one in which he was entangled with Prodigy, a known Jay-Z foe, but one more in particular was with, you guessed it, Camron Giles.
There's police watching right now too, hip-hop police and all that. What's up, y'all, and all that, but you know, I don't know these niggas, man. Who is y'all niggas, bitch?
This will be a direct message to not only Cam, but also the entire Dipset who clashed with True Life and his gang on the Manhattan streets to the point where True Life got a hold of a Dipset chain.
What it, Jimmy Neutron? You try to say this piece don't exist? There's only one nigga who do this bullshit with this. Step the diamond game up, my nigga. You're not balling.
Whatever, I'm downtown the club by myself, Dolo. True Life and like 3 get out of the car. I was like, yeah, Dipset, da-da-da. We get into an altercation down at the club. It's like 3 or 4 and it's me. So we get in an altercation. You know, the next day it's publicized, it's all blown out of proportion, whatever. To me, it's cool. I got caught slipping. I didn't know motherfucking I was beefing with this, but it's fine. I don't got no problem. It is what it is. That's part of the street.
You know, and they've been going on record saying disrespectful things, trying to rip apart Jay-Z, they trying to rip apart me, they trying to rip apart Nas. A 19-year-old kid from my neighborhood punched him in his eye as well.
Jay-Z was using people's lives and careers as chess moves, noting later on after the beef died, True Life's career will become stagnant to the point where he would ask Rocafella in 2009 to release him from their contract, which an agreement was made. Later on, Jay-Z would continue to flex by signing Jim Jones to Roc Nation. This played well into the conflict Cam began to have and still has to this day with Jim Jones.
You are from the Bronx, bro. You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, my nigga. I did not grow up with you.
Cam would forego any further connection to Rocafella and go on to produce independent albums. Today, many artists have become richer, making the same moves, but back in those days, the independent route was looked down upon, where Cam found himself almost a laughingstock amongst his peers.
I've been just hearing a lot of negativity, and Koch Records, we distribute Diplomat Records, and
Yeah, well, Diplomats are cool, but put Cam on the phone.
But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain to you, you talk about you Koch as the graveyard, you just let your man
It is a graveyard.
Jay-Z had used his business acumen to execute his revenge on Cam, but this was only the beginning.
What happened was they told me to give up the car, and I looked at him like he was stupid, pulled off, and then he started shooting.
In a random attack in DC, Camron would make an announcement detailing how someone tried to carjack him for a car worth 6 figures.
As Cameron drove off in his Lamborghini sports car down this Washington, D.C. street, he was shot twice in the arms. He was treated and released from Howard University Hospital.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm excellent, man. It was great.
He's fine now, but how about at that moment when he first faced the hijacker at this D.C. intersection?
I felt disrespected because nobody's going to take a $250,000 car from me, let alone a 5-cent piece of chewing gum.
Police are still looking for the suspect. Cameron says the hijacker definitely was after him, but he said proudly tonight he got nothing.
After using business tactics, Jigga's moves now extended to blood, or at least it seemed. Cam was not silent about tactics being used by Hov. He would move this battle to the booth and release one of the lesser known but devastating disses against Jay-Z, Gotta Love It and Swagger Jacker, hosted by none other than K-Slay.
All right, let's get to this joint.
Warning. It was these songs where he would detail all of Jay-Z's swindling moves, from upscaling his bars using others.
I don't think he wrote nothing, ever. You like Mark McGuire on steroids, man. You hit a whole bunch of home runs and you on steroids. You don't write shit.
I'm not a writer, I'm a fighter. When the Grammys in the system, ain't no telling. When I fuck 'em, will I diss 'em? That's what these hoes yelling. I'm a pimp by blood. When you're in the system, ain't no telling. When I fuck 'em, will I diss 'em? That's what they be yelling. I'm a pimp by blood.
To his wicked ways of business.
We stole Rocafella from Dane. Second, we stole Kanye from Dane. Third,
and even confirming it was Jay-Z who came for blood in DC.
I seen the nigga throw that diamond up before them shots was fired.
This situation was surprising, especially knowing that Cam once went viral for his beliefs on snitching.
He told CNN's Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes why he'd rather be silent than a snitch.
You were shot in both arms?
Yes.
And you have nerve damage in one of them?
Yes.
Does it still hurt?
Oh yeah, definitely. Feels like my hand is numb. It's in the ice box all day.
If you had seen who shot you, would you have told police?
No.
Why?
Because the type of business I'm in, it would definitely hurt my business. And the way that I was raised, I just don't do that. I was raised differently, not to tell.
If there is a serial killer living next door to you, though, and you know that person is, killing people, would you be a snitch if you called police and told them?
If I knew the serial killer was living next door to me?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't call and tell anybody on him, but I'll probably move.
After publicly squashing his beef with Nas, Jay-Z would appear in an interview with the Queensbridge native where Jay-Z responded to Cam's accusations.
Does he go too far when he says or suggests somebody from Rocafella shot him?
Of course. That's just criminal. Like suggesting that somebody from Rocafella shot him, that's just like, that's snitching. That's like snitching. No, that's like straight snitching. I ain't even dry snitching. I thought that was dry snitching. I gotta upgrade the definition. But for the record, we didn't shoot him. It's hard to shoot somebody while you do that. I don't know how you do that. Like, I just don't.
If this were to happen today, this would for sure be included in investigations of the incident. And who is to know this did not happen back then when the hip-hop cops were prevalent in any New York City hip-hop beef at the time.
With the whole Rocafella thing, when he was like, yo, I seen that rock sign go up when the shots went off, like, that kind of like, I was like, huh? Like, that was weird. Let's say, for instance, the cops was like, yo, we can want to investigate who shot Camron. And then he says, yo, they threw up a rock sign when I got shot. You understand? And it's like, you know, which way the cops gonna look?
I just woke up and some nigga talking about I'm snitching. Hey, yo, listen, let me explain snitching to y'all motherfuckers. Snitching is when you have paperwork that you tried to send somebody to jail or you sent somebody to jail. Not what you in a rap song, not what you in an interview, interrogation room. Not in the streets, jail bars.
Some would say that this entire event in DC was one of hip-hop's first publicity stunts. This event occurred near Howard University, and Camron was stunting in a Lambo. More than enough people speculated this was just to get attention for his upcoming album. What fueled these speculations is 50 Cent's success, which was based mostly on the fact he got shot 9 times and survived. The first one to capitalize on such a tragedy was Tupac. Camron was in a tight situation attempting to get his label off the ground after signing a deal with Koch Records, who were much lower on the distribution totem pole as far as where he came from with Rocafella. This event to this day is sketchy as far as what actually happened.
I play Rico, they shot me in D.C. That's what happened when I play Rico. Niggas say you snitch ass nigga, they confusing motherfucking movies with real life.
But Jay-Z would use the situation to send a message.
But like I said, no, it doesn't warrant a response from me. I mean, now though, you know, I just like to leave that possibility out there. I just like to leave that possibility out there.
Not ever being one to shy away from beef in the booth, Jigga would finally address this situation, completing the process of business, bars, and blood on a track called Dig a Hole, where he would confirm Cam's accusations. He would start off by identifying the target.
Only time you went black, my chain was on your neck, that's an actual fact.
Cam's only platinum plaque came from his short time at the Roc.
So I'm praying that it spills outside of the booth. That's when y'all niggas outside of your truth. Niggas throwing rock signs outside of your coop.
After this, Cam would attempt to take advantage with more tracks aimed at Jay-Z, even in the midst of his other conflicts with 50 Cent and Nas, while Jay-Z would continue his epic rise to billionaire status. When going from street to corporate dealings, one of the main things that has to exit is street beefs, which don't look good for a corporate CEO. One of Jay-Z's biggest strengths was utilizing humbleness in exchange for position, as when he settled things with Nas, that would be almost as shocking as the beef itself. Jay-Z would replicate the action with Cam, as to where, years later, they would appear on stage together to perform the only track they collaborated on, Welcome to New York City. Settling differences itself is a forgotten step in a process of ascension to billionaire status, which Jay-Z would go on to achieve, competing back and forth for richest rapper ever with another Dame Dash protege, Kanye West.
Jay-Z called me. Hey, bro, Jay-Z, I know you got killers. Please don't send them out my head. Just call me.
Becoming one of the richest black men in American history, which he got mastering different tactics of talking people out of position and elevating past them with the method of business, bars, or blood. If you like this documentary, I'm sure you'll like many of my other short and long form documentaries. Well, anyways, you know how we like to end our videos over here at Moxie Approved, right? With that water. I see you here next time on Moxie Approved.